Hello, welcome to the No Excuses podcast, episode 19. My name's Anne and I come from Worcestershire in England, where I live with my husband and our dog Bert. It's going to be a long one today. I'm going to do the regular stuff, talk about the knitting and the sewing or whatever I've been doing craft-wise, and then I'm going to talk about my favourite and unfavourite needles, the needles I own, why I'm, anyway, we just go through the needles. And then at the end, I've got a couple of short videos that I took earlier in the garden, although I warn you, they're definitely amateur. Okay, so let's start, shall we? Have you all been? I think it's been about 10 to 13, nearly 2 weeks since I recorded. So, yeah, I've been a while, but I've been busy and I've been out a couple of times, which I'll talk about towards the end. But yeah, as usual, everything I talk about should be in the down bar below. And also, just a quick reminder of the make-alongs that are taking place. We're now into the summer part of the seasonal mail. To think then, and that will carry on now to the end of September. Please, put anything you can remotely relate to summer, it'd be great. And yes, double dipping is encouraged. So if you've done an accessory, please go into the accessory mail that Leslie of Not Quite Enough Yarn and Kellyanne of Yarn Tales by the Sea are doing as well. Dip as many items into as many mails as you can, because it's fun. You can enter via Ravelry or Instagram, or you can email me, and the details for my contacts on all those places are down below. The other mail is the stash or shelf mail, where I am encouraging you to use yarn that you've had in stash for a while and or pattern that you've had for a while and you've not used before. I've got plenty of those and I need to enter, so yeah, need a kick. Well, then maybe my finished item could qualify for that. Not that I'm going to really enter my own mails, you know what I mean. It's nice to take part. If you're encouraging others, then I should lead by example. Okay, so first of all, I've got some notes, because I forget things otherwise. We are going to talk about the one finished item I've got, but it's not blocked, but I'm going to show you very quickly, and it's the Thundercloud Kisses shawl. So this is an asymmetric triangle shawl, starting up there, and then it goes into these, what you can only describe as rather nice triangular holes. This needs blocking, but I need the whole of the table and I need Tom to help me, so maybe tomorrow would be a good day. I don't think I'm going to wash it. I might just spritz it, although no, maybe a sew could open out the holes. And then you've even got kisses, what Libby calls these little bumps, kisses, these little knots, or bubbles as they're usually called. And they're on the end as well, if you can see them against mine as well. And it's nice, stretchy, cast off as well. So this was easy to knit. It's not a bad pattern. The making of the large holes can be a bit fiddly if you lose your count. But, yeah, I'd recommend the pattern. So that's Thundercloud Kisses from Libby Johnson of Truly Myrtle. Just a quick reminder to say that the yarn, this colour here, is Penny by Cosmic Strings. I don't know whether they still do it or they died to order, I'm not sure. And then this pretty colour is Florence from Alison at Biffsugar. They're both merino singles. So that's my finished item, and I'm pleased to get that off the needles. Like, I need another shawl, but I want to knit another one because I want to enter Ruth's and Little Monkeys and Me, isn't it? There, across the pond shawl. So I've got something in mind, but I'm going to see what yarn I can dig out. And I think I've got a little while to be able to enter that. If I'm talking too quickly, then I apologise. I'm just aware that this is going to be a long one. Although, you know, if you haven't got time to watch it all, YouTube is always, well, usually very good at remembering where you've got to, isn't it? So the next thing on my needles is the Runway Tea by Stella Ackroyd. And I've got this far. So I am knitting this in Lithuanian linen from Midwinter Yarns. And I've got it in the pumice colourway, I think. Then that one is O'Donnell. And this top one is bronze green. That colour. So it is green. And I think these are coming out quite well. And you're saying, well, Anne, hold on a minute. The Runway Tea is 2 stripes, like going up with eyelets in between. And I said I'd replace the eyelets with the O'Donnell because I've had that one for a while and I thought it goes rather well. And the dark looks a bit stark at the moment, but the tones of the colours look good together. So I'm pleased with that. I'll carry on. However, not one to want to interfere with any pattern. You know I don't usually. You know, I never make changes. I've decided it'll all end in teas. Don't tell me. I know that I'm going to do different set of stripes, but other than that, I will stick to the pattern for all the measurements because I just felt that these colours in stripes, because they're thick stripes, you're supposed to do sort of, you know, quite a few. I think almost 3 times as deep as this, each stripe, before you change colours. And although I like stripes, even though I'm, you know, overweight and got big boobies, I felt that for me, I'd rather have thinner stripes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 lots of 10 row stripes. So I've got 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to 10, 20, 30, of the, you know, 10 of each. And then I'll repeat that. And then as I got the t-shirt, I will reduce the number of rows in each stripe by 2. And when I get to about 6, it means I can stop cutting them off and I can carry them up on the inside of the top. I was going to say something else as well about this, and that I found, you know that, oh, sausage, look at how many stitches I've just lost. Excuse me while I put my head down and put these stitches back on, will you? I did this last week, didn't I? You know how yarn, if you've knitted with linen before, it's very slubby. So you can get literally lumps of linen. And I'm not going to worry, as long as I secure the stitch, I can sort them out afterwards. So just bear with me a sec. And I had what looked like a lump, and I knitted it, but now I've found that it started to separate, and it looks like I'm ending up with almost a hole much further down. Let's see if I can find it. I should have put a little pin on it, but I keep seeing it. And if I keep seeing it, it means, you know, unless it's at the back. And also I feel like I have to secure it in case it does. It shouldn't work itself into a hole, but, you know. Anyway, as you were. What I was thinking was, because it looks like a hole and, you know, I can't find it. Can't find it because I'm looking for it. Never mind. I thought perhaps I ought to secure it in some way, and depending on where it is at the back of the front of the yarn, can't see it, I'm thinking maybe I'll do a bit of embroidery in one of the contrast colours, a little flower or something. Oh, it's right by me knitting. I went all the way around, all, I don't know, 400 stitches and something, and it's basically, there's a little, I'm going to pull you nearer to me, don't scream as you get closer. Let me show you. see that little lump there where it's coming up? And that was all together, because when I knit it, I'll put you back. When I knit it, oh, that's the same machine. It was quite secure, but obviously it's wriggled free now. So I think I might, if I get anything like that, I might just secure it with a little daisy or something at the side of the top. Good practice for me anyway, isn't it, for making daisies? So yeah, so this is the runway tee. This is my evening knitting, so I'm doing 3 or 4 rounds a night. I'm quite happy with that, because it's boring, because it's just a knit stitch. And linen isn't the easiest thing to knit with, so that I find it a little bit hard, not hard on the hands, that's not even, it jumps. I mean, you've seen it, it's just jumped off the needles. I was using my higher sharps, but I'm using my zings now, because I needed my higher sharps for my next cast on. So I'll talk about the needles in a bit, like I say. And I won't show you the knitting bit, because I've only just cast it on and done a couple of rows of rib. But I am doing, based on this cardigan pattern, I should have got that out for you. This cardigan pattern that my mum found, you remember? And she found it in a charity shop. So I'm doing what I was going to use for the Elton cardigan, these 3 gorgeous colours. And what we've got here, we've got obsidian at the front, which I'm going to use for the all the ribbing and the front band. That's obsidian by Coupsier. And then there's 2 versions of hydrangea aspera, or aspera, from Botanical Yarns. And I'll just give you, and you can see it's got a little bit of pops of colour in it, little pinks and things. So you've got BFL 4-ply and mohair, and they look really nice together. So I've done this swatch. I've got gauge to knit on the second biggest size, second from, anyway, size 2, on a 3mm needle, which means it's going to take me a while, but I like the fabric. I think it's quite it's still drapey, as you can see, but it's not, it's not going to pull and things. I don't know, I like things to be a bit firmer, because I am a loose knitter anyway. But so yeah, so I'm going to get on with that, and that's going to be my day knitting. So I'm quite pleased that I've got that started, because frankly I couldn't decide on what to knit next for myself. I'm having a bit of thing is, I knitted that apricot and grey and silver, sorry Julia, I knitted that multicoloured top with the linen and cotton that I showed you last time, that I wore last time. And after I took it off from wearing it all day, the neck has really gone bigger, and it is a big and heavy top. But for the life of me, I have got no will to undo it and do it again. And Mum said, why don't you make a cushion out of it? Well, I would, except it's got a big V in the front, although I could take one of the sleeves and literally use the sewing machine to sew it on. But we don't really use cushions that much in the house. And the dog is on the settee and things. So I originally bought the cotton yarn to make a bag out of. So I might turn it into a bag and put some lining in it. And even if I use it as a project bag, or I might wear it. But I was saying to Mum that I see something nice, I'm attracted to it, whether it's yarn or a pattern. I buy it because I'm greedy, and that's my version for me. I'm not judging anybody else. Because I want it now. I'm going to have it now. And then I make it, and actually it isn't what I need or what I want. But I'm so caught up in the making, and because I can make things reasonably quickly, reasonably well, when I don't go wrong, then I feel that I'm not necessarily making the things that I want to make for me. And I need to concentrate more on doing what I really want. And there's, yeah, I'll get myself organised. I'll show you what I want to knit next for me. And my mum's keeps saying to me, despite what you measure around, and despite what the swatches say, she hasn't said all that, but the context of it is I need to make smaller sizes because I'm making things and they're ending up huge. And it's weird because if I make them a couple of sizes smaller than what I measure, they seem to fit, even though in theory my swatches work. Or they obviously don't. I've swatched for them. So, anyway, I'm going to have a bit of a rethink. I actually got as far as taking my notebook outside today to start my crafty journal after being looking at Anita's of Gaga Knits and her start to her journal, and it's great. And I've got a dot grid one, and I bought another one last week. I had that lovely Bellini one, and then I bought that was quite a few things just falling down the side of the table where I can't reach. Get hubby to come and get them in a bit. But I bought this. This is a sage green, gorgeous colour, lush term. So it's I like them. They're solid. The other one I've got is stop saying is dot grid as well. So this is a dot grid one. You see it. And I think because this is hardback, I'm going to use this for my crafting. But I need to make some notes, and I know I've said this before, but if I say it to you, it might make me do it. But I want to make some notes and put patterns to yarn, and have a good look at the sizing and the ease and everything, and decide what I want to do, because I'm wasting a lot of time. Like, look at Swamp Monster. You know, it took me nearly 2 months to knit that. You know, and I really wanted a little cardigan out of that yarn, and I'm not sure now whether I'm going to wear it as a tank top or not, because the tank top is so big or long. Put myself on the head. Right, just ignore what I threw on the floor. But do you know what I mean? Because it's almost like we do have too much choice. And if I stop myself from buying more yarn, again, try anyway, and I concentrate on using the patterns I've got, then at least that limits me a bit more. I mean, I've got several hundred patterns, but, you know, in theory, it narrows it down. So I wasn't going to go on a sort of, what you call it, an analysis of what, you know, I'm thinking at the moment. But it wasn't on my list of things to talk about. But yeah. There we go. What am I wearing? Yeah, sorry, I forgot to tell you. You know my jumper that I think I wore it once. I said it's my house jumper. The BFL, it's a boxy. And it's falling apart at the sleeves. This is my summer equivalent. Now, it looks a bit funny on the neck because that's supposed to be the collar that goes over. But it's never sat right. And I like this. It's got mismatching, just undo the buttons. I don't give you. It's got mismatching buttons on it. One's grey and that one's pearlescent. Can't see it. That one's grey again. So yeah, I've just alternated those two colours. But this is, you can see it's multi-striped, and this is called, see all those colours in it. And it's a cotton and acrylic mix. I think it's 50-50. DK weight, and it's Sirdar Summer Stripes. And I knitted it from a pattern in a magazine, Knit Now, so I'm not sure whether it's available anywhere else. But I'll have a look at the details and see if I can find it anywhere, and I'll put it down below if I can find it. But Summer Stripes, I knitted something first of all in this one. And there's, I don't know if you can see, but the top of here, there's a grey, well you can't really, but trust me. There's a set of grey and purple stripes here. And the grey was the predominant colour. So you get a really, really long run of the grey in this particular colourway. And then you get all these bright colours coming in randomly. So I knitted it up first, and I really didn't like it because they had huge amount of pooling with the grey, obviously. And that's what they were going for. But I'm not so keen on things that are where you see some of these yarns these days where they've got a lot of, you see a big stripe or something, and then there's the main colour, and then when you knit the cardigan, the one's up here and one's down there, stripes, I mean, or they're not, you know, the same on the sleeves. Although I'm not really, I don't mind if they're not identical. I don't like them too far out from one another. I'm not so keen on the look. I know a lot of people don't mind, and that's fine. That was how the yarn was designed to be. But for this, I took it all apart again. Same old story. Well, this is a few years ago now. And I took a lot of the grey out. Because I'd bought it as a pack, I think it was the end of line, because they don't do this anymore, Sirdar. But it's a super yarn. I made sure that I had as much of the yellow as I can. Is it the yellow there? And then I knitted it, so I had loads and loads of ends to weave in. But they stayed there, and it goes in the machine, and I love it. And it's just a little short cardigan. It's got a moss stitch border. But the interesting thing about this yarn is the sleeves, where they don't get very worn or rubbed by me at all, how it was designed to be. But the boobies, where they do get a bit of rubbing, bright. So somewhere, friction has done something to the yarn. It may be wearing the cotton away, just leaving the acrylic, for all I know, because you know acrylics they tend to take yarn, dye a lot brighter, don't they, than cotton can, I think. So yeah, so this is my house cardigan for the summer. I say it's got a little collar on it, which I don't go out in this, you know. And I did 3/4 sleeves, and I love it because it dries in no time. And about the same time, Sirdar did a whole range of different yarns in this 50-50 cotton and acrylic. One was calico, which was just one colour, and that was super as well. I don't think I still own anything in calico. And I think Sirdar Sunday was another one, and I've got a top in the wardrobe which I'll wear before the summer's out. And I'm sure there was another stripy one as well, but I don't think they do them anymore. And it's a nice blend of, it keeps its shape far better than a pure cotton, you know. So please, Sirdar, bring out another combo, please. Anyway, so this is Sirdar Summer Stripes. I've got another colourway which is mainly greens, and I'll show you that as well another time. And that's a cardigan that I do wear out. I allow myself to wear because I like it. Okay, I'm talking gibberish. We have got to 23 minutes. So I'm going to put the things away that I've been showing you. I'm going to go and get my needles, and then I'm going to come back and have a chat to you about my needles. Okay? And if I remember, I will put a timestamp or something on there if you're not interested, so you can go to the end where I chat about what I've been up to, and then show less than 5 minutes about the garden, I think it is. Okay, so I'll see you in a little while. Okay. Hello. I just remembered that when I turned round, I forgot to talk about what's hanging on the back of the door. Ignore the turkey, right, or the chicken that sat over the iron. That's not supposed to be there. Just ignore it. Tom found it. We were digging for something, and he said, "Oh, look, I found this." And we hadn't seen it for ages. We gave the turkey. I'm going to go off on a tangent. You know what I'm like. Mum and Dad came for Christmas dinner a few years ago here, and we at work. I was really silly at work, and I used to like to have a theme for Christmas dinner. and Amazon started selling lots of silly hats and things. So we went to a local pub, mainly the admin from my department. There was about 10 or 11 of us, plus a few other people that wanted to come along. And the idea was that you pulled somebody's name out of the hat and you bought them a silly hat, or you made them a silly hat. Most people bought them. They were less than a tenner, a few quid, you know, and shops in Worcester sold them as well. And we ended up with bringing home a chicken or a turkey hat. So when it was Christmas Day, we said to Mum and Dad, look, you know, because my dad always wears the hat at the cracker, even though, like, I've got a big head like his. They rarely fit us, they rip. But his game, you know, he'll wear it. And he put that on, and he said, I like this Viking hat. And I don't know why, but he thought it was a Viking hat, you know, with horns. But no, Dad, it's a turkey. Oh, yeah. What do you do with them, eh? Anyway, my point was going to be that the top that's hanging on the back of the door is the gelato top by Liesl & Co. And I've just understitched the facing, but I'm not going to do much more. I might try and have a go at the ruffles for the sleeve tomorrow. But it's open at the back at the moment because we're going to put a zip in it for me to help me get it on easier. So I'm doing this with the help of Mama, who I'll probably see later in the week or at the weekend. So, yeah, so that's a gelato top hanging on the back of the door. And it's quite nice, fine cotton lawn, we think, with a thin stripe in it. It's all about stripes today. You know, I've got stripy runway tee. I've got stripes in my mum's cardigan. I've got stripes in that top. I'm wearing stripes. I like stripes. Okay. Let's talk about needles, because I have got, I've just took them all out of the drawer and I've got quite a few needles, but I do use most of them. Even if I only, you know, use them occasionally, they come in use. And I think if you're going to knit with a wide range of items, then you do need a certain amount of needles. As you know, I've been knitting from, you know, since I was young, and so I started off on straights. And I like my straights. I've got my straights in the cupboard, and I keep thinking maybe I should have a go with them, see how awkward I find them these days, because I took to knitting with circulars quite easily. But I found as I got older, I wanted longer and longer straights. So when I started buying my own needles, if I hadn't got enough pairs, because I used to cast on more items in one go in those days than I would today. I'd go and buy myself another set of needles, even though I've got some of my grandma's needles. And I'd buy the 30cm ones, you know, a foot long, because I liked that. And I don't know whether they gave me a certain amount of balance or anything, but I think it's strange, given that I use short circulars now, you know, and I just bought 4-inch ones. So I've gone from one end to the other, really. And is that change of style, change of taste? I don't know. I just find interesting. So I was knitting like happily on those, and then the internet came along and I started looking at things, and I found YouTube videos of people talking about their knitting, and people kept talking about Ravelry on various. I remember Lovecrafts when it was really, really, really early days. You know, they had a bit of a blog, and I was looking at knitting blogs in those days, crafting blogs, and people kept on about Ravelry. And then one thing led to another, and I got into circulars. And the first set of circulars I bought, and I still do use them, I keep them in this, gonna blow out. There we go. I should put a picture in. There we go. This is a flat needle case, and it's got a flap there to reveal the needle points, and it has got the numbers done in embroidery at the side there. This case is by Quince & Co, and I think the lady still is trading on Etsy. She's in the middle of Wales, I think. and I bought this to hold my Knit Pro Symphonies, and they are, as you all know, this is a 4.5, a pretty coloured wooden tips. I bought those because I was looking at what to buy. I knitted on metal mainly, so it was nice to be challenged to try something different. And they were quite popular at the time. Obviously it's years before the liquor ones came out, etc. And I think I paid less than £30 for a set, a basic set on Amazon, and they came with a few cables. So these are the cables, they're purple, and then you get stops as well, and you get a little I'm just about to see that key to help tighten them up. Yeah, and I've added to the set, so in terms of value they're not bad, and I quite enjoyed using them. But if we go back to the 4, well, let's go have a look at the 3.5. I've got a space here where the 3.25 is. No, I don't know where that is, because I'm sure I own some. If we look at the tip on that, and that's 3.5, it's not as sharp as, you know, because it's wood, you don't want it too sharp, because it would, if you knit tight, it would go. It snap off probably. But I was finding then that I was getting used to knitting with circulars, and I didn't really want to go back to knitting on straights like a lot of people found. So I wanted to try something that had a sharper point, because I was knitting with something like splitted, like cotton. I had something like a drops. They do one that's linen and some cotton and something mix, and it's quite splitty. And because of that, I thought, right, I'm going to try and see if I can get a needle that suits me better in terms of a point on the end. And there was a lot of talk about either Addies, and I've not tried any Addies at all, the Chiagoos or the higher sharps. And then I started having a look, and I decided on the higher steels, and I decided on the higher sharps, and they are my favourite needle. So this is my lovely needle case. I keep various things in here. But let's have a look at the smallest one I've got in here that I can grab easily. And this is the, oh, that's 3.25. I'm using the 2.75. This is the higher sharp, so it's a steel, and it's got a nice pointy edge on it. Pointy point. And I bought a kit from possibly Woolstack in Cheltenham. I find Woolstack really good. They don't have a huge range, but if they stock what you want, i.e. the brand that you want, then they're very good competitively. Their customer service is very good. If you've got any questions, Kevin and his team, it's normally Kevin that emails me back if I've had a question, are really good to respond quickly. So I bought that, and it came in a blue brocade case, which was very useful, and I kept that for a while, but I got rid of it eventually because I added to my higher sharps collection to the point that it wouldn't hold everything. So I put them in a different case, and I'll show you I'll get you a cable out. And they do a wide range of cables as well, and they come, and they're blue and they're plastic, and they're not bad for memory. They can be a bit like the Symphony ones, you know, they don't necessarily lose all their memory because they're just plastic. But the big plus for me is they rotate, and I really like that. So I'm holding the cable still, and the tips rotate, and I find that really useful. And one of the times they're really useful is when you're adding them in the middle of the knitting. If you're going up a size or you're going up a cable, you know, you can just put them on because I'm finding with my chair goos that the whole cable rotates because this doesn't turn up on its own. The big disadvantage, and you can see it there, is the kink. I can't really put my hand up that close. You see how it's falling away off there, and it's kinked. If I turn it up the other way, it's still kinked. Look, it's not lying flat. You know, it's not a straight run, and they do kink. And I think all mine are like that, and I'm not a tight knitter. Now, it doesn't generally interfere with my knitting, but for me, it's the only negative point about my hires. I don't think they're too badly priced. I find them, they don't come undone very often. They send you, they give you when you buy a set, some rubber pads to tighten them. I don't generally use those. I tend to use a tightening key from I think they come with this, and I've got several with the symphonies, or I get a T-pin out of my blocking thing and I use one of those. I'll show you actually. I keep a lot of my stitch markers in these little baby bon maman jars, and I've got a T-pin there that I use. I keep it to hand, and then I can tighten my needle tips. So yeah, the hires are the ones I've got most of. So I think they're my most popular needle. So I bought them second, and then I won't put all that away because there's other things in there to show you. And then I don't know what I was knitting, but I needed some DPNs because I was trying things like Magic Loop, which I really didn't like. So I bought the DPN set, and again I'll show you the case first. This is again by Quince Pie. Oh, she had two, but unfortunately they weren't in the same colourway. This is a slightly darker colourway with the sheep, and this is a roll. So I'll make sure I don't lose everything. Unrolling it, you've got the flap again, and then you can see my zings sticking out underneath. So these are my Knit Pro zings. They're Knitter's Pride in America. So again, if I look at the 3.5, so you get 5 needles for the DPNs, and they are in different colours. And they're nice because you think metal they would slip, but then they're not. They've got the markings on them, which mine haven't worn off yet. But I usually keep a needle gauge to hand because some of these are really hard to read. You know, the markings on your needles, especially some of the steel tips. And when you're older, and you can't read, you know, your eyesight fails. But I've got from twos right up to, I bought, you know, quite a range because I was going to do some little toy patterns. So those are the 2mm ones, and they're a different colour. And I like using them. I'm not mad on knitting with DPNs. You know, I don't like tight spaces really. I find it makes my shoulders ache a little bit, which is annoying, because that means that I end up aching for a while if I do it for too long, you know. So I just put the wrong colour in the wrong colour slot. We can't be doing with that. But one slight annoyance, right? If you're going to put colours on things, don't put 2 adjacent sizes in similar colours. The 4s and the 4.5s are very, very similar to one another, and I think that's silly. When you bear in mind they've got green and pink, and do you know what I mean? It's just irritating. And the other one that's similar to that is the 3 and the, I'll show you, the 3s and the 3.5s. Again, very, very similar. Probably not showing up as well on here because I've got the light shining on me as usual. I don't know which is which now. Never mind. Anyway, so yes, So I've got those, and I've added to them over the years. And I think, again, I bought those from Woolstack. I think they do Knit Pro and they do Higher. I don't think they do Chigu, but they may do Addy, I'm not sure. But they're very good. They're very good. If you're in the UK, I recommend them. And I've heard other podcasters recommend them as well. So, the button broke on that one, so I just twisted it and took it in. So, and they're heavy, aren't they? They're heavy, the metal ones. Well, you'd think I'd had all the needles I needed then. But because I like the zings, and I like the DPNs, this is a Kipling bag, and it's got a zip at the top, and a Kipling pouch. Quite like Kipling because they're lightweight. I bought some other zings. I'm not going to take them all out, but I've got a selection there of non-interchangeable fixed circulars. That's what I mean. And I have to get the needle gauge out with some of them, because some of them, because of the colours being. But I've also got, and I think I can't see. I've also got the odd one is a different brand. That's a higher fixed circular. It's on a green cable, and I think it's because it's a thinner needle. And I think I've got a bamboo here as well. That is a higher. Again, that's a bamboo one. Sorry you can't see them very well. But if you've got any questions about my needles, some of these I've not used, But like I said, I'm using the zing on my mum's cardigan. Not my mum's cardigan, my runway tee. I knew I'd have that size 3mm, and luckily I had a long enough cable to put all the stitches on. So I keep them in there, and I use them as and when. I could use them a bit more often. They're not very pointy, and you see, and I got used to using the sharps. And a lot of people don't like the sharps because they are sharp. And if you're using the smaller sizes, the smaller millimetres, you can end up with a hole in your finger, depending on how you knit. But I still like them. It's what you get used to as well, isn't it, to a certain extent. And then, in addition to that, because I get fear of missing out and all this rubbish, I've also got 2 little kits. I've got 2 little chiagoos. I'm showing you these in the order that I bought them or was given them. Mainly I buy them and say, you can give me those for my birthday or Christmas or whatever. And these are the lace twist shorties. They come in like that. And the needle sizes start from 1.5mm up to 2.5. That's the 1.5. And it's obviously a 5-inch tip. And it's quite pointy. So that's a chiagoo. And I've used them occasionally. And again, I had all these visions of doing like a Shetland shawl, or I want to do everything, but I don't have time to do everything. And they come with the metal. Have they got metal in them? But I can't see. Yeah, they come with a little metal thing. Now you can see, actually, talk about higher going. That's gone as well, hasn't it? Can you see it kinking? It's kinking. It's not straight off the end of the cable like that. It's gone. You know what I mean? It's a technical term. And I've used them occasionally, and if I ever get round to knitting some tiny things, they are ready and waiting for me. I haven't added to these at all. I've just got what came with the kit, and you get a lovely little pouch. You get and you get a needle gauge, and chiagoo needle gauge with it, and you get a little hard plastic container, and in there, a bit like the higher sharps, you've got a rubber thing to be able to tighten with. You've got some end stops so you can park in knitting on the cable safely, and some little baby stitch markers and a couple of locking pins, tightening pins. Not cheap. The Chergoo, none of these needles are cheap. You know, I mean, if you need to budget, then you can, there's a whole wide range of needles that are probably perfectly adequate on Amazon. You can buy huge sets of circulars, but I found that they come off the end. You know, the cable would just come off the needle, and you'd lose a load of stitches, which is one of the reasons I started investing in my needles. And then, because everybody else was buying them, FOMO again, and like I said to you earlier, you know, I see something pretty and I think I've got to buy it. The next thing I bought, because I decided I needed it, is the twist shorties. So those were the lace ones that I showed you before, and these, if you haven't seen them, I think there's a red kit as well. And Chergoo package things really, really well, I must say. So in there you get a little pouch on popper. I'm going to watch the time here, otherwise it'll stop on me. And you get the tiny insy weensy little tips. So I think these are sort of something like 1.5 inches. And then you get a slightly longer one as well. And they're good for doing very small circumferences. I have used them towards the end of a cuff and things. So they go from a 3.5mm up to a 5. Yeah, in both sizes. So you get a 3.5, 375, a 4, a 4.5 and a 5. So, you know, that would do a lot of sleeves. I'm wondering, I'm thinking out loud here, whether the red set are smaller needles. So you get the blue cables with them. And again, you don't get the plastic container, but you get stitch markers and, oh, the light, sorry. You get stitch markers and T-pins and end stops again, all in this gorgeous little zip pouch. So let's see what's in the front pocket. It's a little baby needle gauge. That's cute, isn't it? Oh, give up. So yeah, I have used them. Bearing in mind these were a lot of money for what you get, but they'll last forever, won't they? And they're here if I want to use them, if I need them. I don't know why I keep them in the extra plastic packet, but I do. So all those, I keep my higher sharps and my 2 little packets of Chergoos in that gorgeous case there. And then finally, it was my 60th birthday. I know I keep banging on about it, but I don't know how I got to be 60 so quickly. Last year, and I asked Tom for some Chergoos, and he bought me these as instructed. You like a Staffordshire Bull Terrier pin on there, company on Etsy. So in here you get like I've only added, you get those, but not the long ones. I added those myself. I had them before, so I bought the 4-inch tips, which is why they don't go in my big needle case, the one with the moths on I just showed you. They will eventually. So these go from 275 here up to 5mm, and you can choose the length of tip between a 4-inch and a 5, and then there's space on the other side for other needles. I've just lost one. That's the thing with these things, if you turn them upside down they will fall out. And then so you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sets of tips, bearing in mind they're 7 or 8 quid each. And then, and again, a very well made pouch, one that makes sense as well. And along with that you get another needle gauge, some stitch markers, I bought that one extra because it goes with the tips that I bought. I was trying them before I bought a whole set. T-pins and end stops again. And you get 4 cables with this to go with that set. You get 2 8-inch cables, a 14-inch cable and a 22-inch cable, whatever they are in centimetres, just say. But also in here are the tiniest connector, so you can join your cables together, and you can do that with higher as well. You can get a connector, and you can also with the higher ones, they do a bigger connector and a smaller connector and a joiner between the 2 sizes, depending on what size tips you've got. So they do think about it, you know, both companies. Say I've not tried Addy's, but I'm not likely to now because I think I've got everything I need, apart from I might add to the occasional tip if I find I keep running out of a certain size tip all the time. I can't find them. So I'm quite fastidious about putting things away with my tips because they're small and I don't want to be on the floor. I want to be able to find them when I need them. So that is my rather extensive, embarrassingly large tips needle sets. I'm not sure I'm going to keep my knit pros because I've not used them in a couple of years. I've used the cables to park things on, but I could equally park them on other things, especially the cheergoos with all the stops that I've got with them. So I might sell these at some point. Yeah, because I don't see the point in keeping them. I much prefer metal ones now. And if I do want the odd wooden one, I could buy a odd fixed circular in bamboo. I don't have needles break on me because I'm not a very tight knitter. The only thing I will say is I think the cheergoos are very expensive, but my perfect needle, I'll end up by saying this, would be the higher tip on the cheergoo cable with the spin in it. So although the spin is on the higher cable, not the tip, but I like the sharp tips on the sharps, and I like the way they spin on the cable. So if somebody invented a metal lined cable that had a spinning end, I think they'd clean up personally, because you get the best of both worlds, because it's so much easier, especially when you're attaching tips, like I said earlier, if you've got a spin on there. You haven't got the needle flipping or anyway. So yeah, so that's my needle review. I've yattered on a bit, but I'm aware that my phone's going to stop any second. So I'll be back in a bit. Hello, back for the final time, if you're still awake. I forgot to mention what I've been buying, and I have bought a couple of things in the last few days. So if I share what I buy, it highlights that I've bought things, and it might stop me buying more and more things. But here we have a little package. I did put it on Instagram to say I was going to open it on here. I'm sorry for the crinkling, but there'll be a little bit of tissue paper rustling. So this is a really nice little package. Came with a letterbox from Tracy of Somerset Yarns. Very nicely packaged. And I've not opened it yet. Now, somewhere I've got a list of what's in here, and I don't know where I've put it, so sorry. I won't be able to tell you what I bought in terms of which colours which. So disorganised. Anyway, I bought, it's on there. Yay, some minis. I've got an obsession with minis. Here we go. I'll just quickly run through these. Mauve. These are all sock yarn. Oh, sea glass. It's beautiful, isn't it? A bit of green there, look. Arizona. That one's blowing out a bit, but it's very pinky, pink. This one is called Sour Apples. So it's on a lot of green in that. funfetti, which I've got in a skein that I'm going to knit something in, or I might have sent it to somebody. Anyway, I bought funfetti before, but this is a bit more highly coloured than the one I had. And then finally, sprinkles. So some of them have got similar colours in, but I've bought them to do something with. I don't know what. And then today I signed up to Vicky Brown's Designs monthly subs club, mini club, and for the ombre option. So I'll be getting that as well as the nature club. I might stop the nature club soon if I end up with a couple more similar ones and I've got enough to make my box seat. So that was from Tracy of Somerset Yarns. It came really fast, so really pleased. And because it was letterbox, it was only £1.50 postage, I think. So, and then from Hobbycraft, they sent me an email. I shouldn't do that really, tempting fate. And they had 50% off some of the sewing items, and I haven't got them here because I've put them away. I had a bit of a tidy up, i.e. hid things yesterday from myself. But I've bought 2 sets of templates for patchwork or EPP type thing. I bought the long diamond and the hexagon, and I bought the hexagon the other week on its own, but it was too good a half price. It was too good an opportunity to miss really, because I've got every intention of doing some of that this year. And then also I bought 3 lots of fat quarters, and if I get a photograph of them, because I put them away, I don't want to dig them out again, but if I can get them off the internet, then I'll put them here. But if you don't see them, then I've not been able to. I'll show you them when I use them. And then when we got married nearly 3 years ago, I bought some box frames from IKEA, and the idea was I put photographs and mementos of the day in there, but I've never got round to it. It's always tomorrow. So I've bought from Hobbycraft 2 lots of scrap paper pads. So they've got some of them are stickers actually. I didn't realise some of them are like decoupage, but they've got fairly innocuous. Oh, grey. I think there's 4 sheets of each. It's a bit. That's not going to do for me. You've got little frames. Let's see if I can find them more. These are stickers. Oh, come on. There we go. And then foils. So you've got like there's little silver hearts as well, and they're going to be for the back of the box frame. And then I couldn't resist a vintage map version. So these have got, I like maps, I like looking at maps. So they've got various pictures on, not showing up very well, not showing up at all well. So you can find something with a bit more colour in it. Oh, that's the bottom of England. My family live, some of my family live here. Look, the Lynn Peninsula, that's Anglesey. And I live somewhere about here. So, I wonder what that is actually. They've got Worcester on it, and Warwick and Gloucester. Doesn't say what year it is, which is a shame. But yeah. So, they're only 6 by 6. I could have bought 12 by 12. But I thought, I want to put photographs in and all sorts. So I'm going to do those one day. So yeah, that's what I've bought this week. I don't really need to buy anything else. I've got a house full of stuff. I just want to do everything, you know. I'm going now. I'm going to leave you with a few clips, photographs of the flowers outside here that I can see from the window, and also the fruit and veg we've currently got in. And I will look forward to seeing you very soon. Thank you for watching. I'm supposed to say please like and subscribe, but you know, I've got 440 something subscribers, and I'm quite happy with that. You know, I haven't come on here to make a business or anything. I've come on here to talk and share ideas, and make you bang your head on the desk along with me when things go wrong. Okay. Oh yeah, I was going to tell you where I've been. I went to Merry Hill Shopping Centre with my friends last week. That was nice. It wasn't too busy. And then on Thursday night, I went out with the Tenor Girls, and we went to the Cosy Club in Worcester, and that was nice as well. Although I think I made the wrong decision in what I ate, because I couldn't decide. I looked at the menu before, and I ended up with tapas, and I ended up with like 2 potato dishes and the meat one, and I didn't like the meat. So yeah, oh well, it did me good not to eat too much. I was driving, so I had one non-alcoholic cocktail, and then I had a rhubarb drink. Then they left us. It was absolutely dead in there, very quiet, because it was a semi-final of the Euros, and England were playing that night. So it was really, really quiet all the way through town and on the roads on the way back. But they come and ask us if we wanted a pudding, and I might have been tempted because I hadn't eaten very much for my main course, or indeed through the day. But, you know, their loss at the end of the day. But yeah, and we're going to start going there once a month, I think, now, instead of going to Wetherspoons for a bit. I don't think we'll go to Wetherspoons until things are a bit further down the line, if you know what I mean. So, not that Wetherspoons are doing anything bad. We did go to, my school friends and I went to Wetherspoons at Merry Hill, and we sat outside, and I used the app to order, and that was nice. I only ate half of what I ordered. You know, so, but that's lunchtime. I'm not keen on a bigger meal at lunchtime, really. So, yeah. So, I've been out and about. Yeah. And I went up and did a bit of sewing, Mom. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm happy. And I've read a couple of books, but I'll catch up with you about those, because I've kept you for far too long. And I will see you very soon. You take care. Bye-bye. Till a bit. Right, so I'm going to try and video this while in the chair, so you'll hear it clunking. So that's the green beans. These are our spring onions. They're getting rather big. I can't really eat many of them. They just repeat on me. That's deep beds that Tom made with the help of my nephews. And these are our garlics, and he's just waiting for them to dry off a little bit more before he can pull them. That's the view up back towards the house. Got a little greenhouse there. We've got a very tall landai, a big black cloud behind it that might come down soon. And then we've got, well, I'll show you the fruit trees in a minute. And here we've got a little bit of salad that's growing. There's a few carrots, and then there's some sorrel, lemon sorrel, which I love. And there's some beet in there as well. And here is our rhubarb, one of our rhubarbs. It's massive. So, yeah. So there's the rhubarb, and we've got a lot of junk back here in terms of, there's a bit of I'm just going to zoom in and see if you can see my acanthus there, which I really like, but they look a bit blurred, so sorry about that. There you go, spiky ones, purple spiky ones. So I'll turn you off and I'll put you back on again in a sec. So here are our tomatoes. The other side, you see the beans over there, and these are the tomatoes, and these are our, I can't remember, yeah, cherry tomatoes. In fact, you can see some there on the plants. If I get stuck on the grass, I'll try and move as gently as possible. The compost bin with the potato growing out of it. We've got a lawn full of dandelions at the moment. There's some more, loads more tomato plants there with a bit of alkanet. And this is our Victoria plum tree. And you can see we've got loads of plums to come on that. You see the green. Oh, where's my finger? Sort of plums there. We've got loads of plums. Of course, I'll try and concentrate on my finger. And then here, sorry about that, I might have to edit a bit, but we have some gooseberries. I don't know. You see if I can zoom in again. You see some little pink gooseberries, and we just tend to eat them and pick them as we go, because there aren't many of those. And then this tree here, oh, I'm getting stuck. I'm going to have to call for assistance, but the husbandio is in the house, so I might have to stop there. You can see some green gauges on there. So, and then I'm just going to turn you off. Right, that is the black plum tree. We call it that because the plums will end up being black. See how big they are already. Look at the beautiful bark on that. Now this tree was sold to us as a russet apple. Can't really see, it's too dark. But this is growing behind the greenhouse, and the greenhouse is holding there's a little one there, beefsteak tomatoes. But I can't go in there because it's to a step. It's very narrow, so I can't really show you that. But you can see with the broken pane of glass, we might buy a new greenhouse later in the year or early next year. Double the size really. But yeah, we're growing some beefsteak tomatoes as well, and one of them's already about 4 inches wide. And there's the old apple tree that we've had to cut down because it got very diseased. But Tom's giving it a new lease of life and hoping it'll come back, because the fruit was quite nice of it. Okay, so the quick tour of our fruit and veg. Thank you for watching.